Okay folks, this is the entrance on Oakland Avenue. So as you come up Oakland Avenue, that's White Street there. Beautiful downtown Rock Hill. And they have got this all fenced off because they're about to tear it all down, but we're going to walk in there and try not to get arrested and film some of it. This credit company has been empty for a long time. Somebody climbed up on the roof and spray painted some graffiti up there a couple, maybe a month ago. And I was happy to see that somebody went up there right behind them and painted right back over it. So I don't know if they're going to save that building or if they're going to tear it down too, but when you look down this alley, you can see this building here is the back of the old Coca-Cola building. It's the Coca-Cola bottling plant from way back in the day. And all this stuff is really old. So we'll walk down through here and you can see they're going to get rid of a bunch of it. This was I think it was the Good Motor Company. Yeah, Good Motor Body Shop right there. So I don't know, I guess all that's probably going too. There might be some guys down here, maybe they'll let me walk around. This is Stan, the Coca-Cola bottling place. It's empty right now. It was a bike store not too long ago. They've had a lot of problems with like homeless people living back here too. Hopefully I don't get shanked. Okay, so this area is actually going to be torn down. So those two buildings on the front, this building is staying. But this is going to be torn down and there's going to be like a walkway through here. Or maybe a, yeah, might be some guys down here. Maybe a driveway through there. So this is part of the motor company here too. And then here you've got the back of this huge building that at one time was an A&P grocery store, but before that, many years ago, it was a dry cleaning place. I'll show you that from the front again whenever we go back there. Right now it's a thrift store doing pretty good business. This is more of the Good Motor Company. I believe that they added all of this, so before them I don't know that there was any buildings there, but maybe not. Okay. And this building here, this is the back side of it. They'll be tearing it down. It's a shame to see something like that go because it's been there a long time. But they had already kind of chopped it up and it had these side entrances here. We'll look at it a little closer. There was a hair salon here in the back. That will be gone now, obviously. I don't know if we can even see anything in there. So I believe it was a hair salon for many years. I've been down here about, I got a call to cut me off, but yeah, this was a hair salon for the 13 years I've been down here. I don't know what it was before that. Old sign here, security, finance, parking only, all violators will be towed at owner's expenses. I'm going to show you some old pictures too that I found. So the security finance was what was in here the latest, and they have moved out now. I don't know how long before they tear this stuff down, but as you can see, the fence is already up, so it ain't going to be long. So this is what we're looking at inside. I'm just kind of doing this to document it a little bit. Just because, you know, I like these old buildings. I don't blame them for tearing it down. But it's a shame to see something old go. This building is actually in pretty nice shape, in my opinion. I mean, it's old and, you know, needs some work and it's been neglected, but you can see how the metal there. You can see how the facade has been changed at some point. We'll look at some old pictures and see if we can figure out what it used to look like. Okay, so now we're going to go back over there. I'm not going to go in all of that because, again, this is private property, actually. This building here is referred to as the Rock. There was a place in here called Renew Our Community that was it like helped homeless people, and they've moved on now and they've moved to another area. So they've left this building. The city owned it, but before it was the Rock, and it's interesting because the building is built out of rock. Before it was the Rock, it was called the Good Motor Company, like we mentioned. I'd like to figure out what it was before that. If I can, I'll update it. So the facade of it has been, and I'll show more of it from across the street. The facade of it has been changed up a little bit with stucco, and the stucco is from when it was the Good Motor Company. So apparently this was 135 White Street. This is where the Rock moved to. They're now over on South Cherry Road. Let me see if I can see in there, if they got it painted on. Yeah, we can see in there. So originally it was, well, not originally, but not too long ago, it was a car lot. And then the shelter. It wasn't really a shelter. They just assist people that need help. So you can see the little things over there are kind of, you would park, you know, a nice car under it, and that's the entrance to the car lot there. So I'm going to show you some more crazy stuff here in a minute. Let's look through this window too. This particular building has a bad roof on it. It would have to have the roof replaced or anything if anybody was going to reuse it. But of course, that's not going to happen. They've sold this whole property, and it's really it's right in downtown, you know. So it's kind of a valuable place. This area out here, I don't know. This must have been a garage for the car company at some point, but I don't know what it would have been before that. Maybe the car company just added all of this. There's a ramp over there to get on that side. By the way, this is, whenever I was talking about getting shanked, this is not a dangerous part of town. We're downtown. I mean, you might get in a fight with somebody if you wanted to run your mouth or something, but if we run across somebody, there's not going to be any problems, believe me. So this is one of the buildings behind. I don't know if we can get back on the other side, but you can see how this is just a big garage where it was part of their service center. All of this will be tore down. There's not much here to save. It says parts and service up above it. Now I'm going to show you a real treat. We're walking towards Dave Lau Boulevard. Dave Lau Boulevard was named after one of the mayors of Rock Hill. And we can talk more about that when we look at some pictures. But one of the things that he did was I believe it was him, I'll look it up to make sure, but he came up with this plan to revitalize downtown. And that included tearing down all kinds of buildings. So as we look back over downtown, that whole area over there that's all a parking lot, well, you can't see it too much because of the building. All of that used to be buildings. I'll show you some pictures of that. This little driveway here was an entrance onto what at one time was Trade Street. So Trade Street is actually still here, but you can't really drive on it because most of it's gone. So this is the curb of Trade Street and the sidewalk. And this originally was how you drove downtown. Just like they're driving, originally you would have drove right through here. So the road is still here for about 1 block, which is just crazy. Okay, this building here it looks like a train station. There was an amazing train station here at one point, a 2-story train depot that is gone now. And they built this to kind of, it was kind of supposed to be like I think it was supposed to be like a museum for the train, because it really pissed everybody off whenever they tore it down. So they built this to kind of replicate it, but they don't even use it. So, I mean, the windows have been broke out and everything. But I think maybe it originally would have been where you could go in there and get information about the history of the town and the train station. So I imagine all of that's probably been taken out too. See the yellow line? Oh, that's mud. Never mind. Thought we found something neat. And this old caboose is just parked here to kind of symbolize the train. So the train, I don't know if the tracks were originally there or if they were over this way a little bit more. That may be right where they were. It probably is the way the overpass is done. So those tracks probably went right under there, and this was the road. Okay. Now down on that end where Dave Lyle Boulevard is now, which is a much larger road than of course Trade Street was, there was a big train yard. I think there was a carousel out there where they could turn the train around. But here's the thing. The train station wasn't there. It was right here. Okay? And the train, the station let me think how they did this. Maybe it was over there. But anyway, the train station was a 2-level train station. So the train went, you could, if you were on the bottom, you were waiting on a train coming this way. If you were on the top, you were waiting on a train coming that way. And I'll show you some pictures of it. There's some old steps here too. I don't know how long those have been there. That might be from the time of the train. We're gonna walk down here to this warehouse just so you can see that. And then we're gonna go back and I'm gonna show you the front of the buildings that they're tearing down. See the bricks there? So that is the foundation of another warehouse like that one that you're seeing up there. So at one point, this came all the way out. Now this building is completely dilapidated, but they're trying to save it. And this company here is trying to rent it to where that, they will completely renovate it and make it a restaurant or whatever. Right, so they're trying to save that. And then here on this corner, you have this old building here that is the old piano company. Marshall Piano Company. Now if you look, that is the old building. The front has been added. So the facade of the old building, I assume, is probably right here. And they extended it a little bit whenever they moved Trade Street out of the way. As a piano company, it's still the same company. So pretty amazing. So we'll walk back up Trade Street here that nobody uses anymore, back up to White Street, and I'll show you how it show you what's going on over there. Okay, so we're back at the corner of Dave Lyle and White. You see the old mill over there. That they've done a great job of saving those buildings. They call it the cotton factory. But really, again, the train tracks were over here. They've moved them over so that they can create a freeway. is the old Trade Street, which is right here. Our store is up there. So you see you can basically tell by the train tracks they haven't moved that. So that this was Trade Street. Up here, I'm going to show you a picture. There used to be a building right here that was like a little hot dog stand or something. And then on that side, that little area there kind of lines up with where the original Trade Street was. But it's moved a little bit too. That's not, you know, exactly. So we're standing where train tracks and stuff would have been. So all of this, they have made a parking lot. So, whoop. Trying not to get murdered here. Okay, so this is the corner of the original street. There was a building here, a little building, and then across White Street. Boy, it does kind of line up. It's pretty close. They've redone it all. I think it was a little farther this way, was Trade Street. But that corner there had like a, one of the pictures will show you, I think it's a liquor store, and then there's some other places. just imagine that the way Dave Lau Boulevard is now is farther over. The original one would have been here. And you can tell by this Wells Fargo over there. The Wells Fargo is still, well, no, we would have been farther over. Yeah, the road was definitely farther over because that's Main Street up there. The Wells Fargo ends here, and then there were buildings next to it. So Trade Street would have been, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna go over there into the parking lot. There were buildings all through here that have been torn down in the past. There was all kinds of stuff in this parking lot behind us originally. Buildings look like that they're tearing down. We're just trying to get some video of it because it won't be here much longer. So gives you a little more idea of the large nature of it. Maybe we can come back in a year or so and see what they ended up, show you what they ended up building. I don't know if I'll get any footage of them tearing it down. It just depends on how long it takes. So this building has been here quite a long time. It says 1920 on the top there. So it made it 100 years, and it ain't going to make it much longer. We'll show the front of this other one. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. So it's 2020, and I'm out here telling you about how time marches on. The same day somebody decides to drive this up here. What's that, a 58? Or no, that's gonna be a 59 or a 60 Chevy Bel Air. So some things do change, people, but we keep around us an Impala. We keep around just enough to remember the better things, right? I think I was right. That's a 58. I think that's a, oh man, I haven't brushed up on my old Impalas in a while. The 60 and this, was it the 61, had the more of the fins. Final guess, 59 Impala. That's what I'm gonna guess. Let's go see. Must be a 58. Should have trusted my instincts.